welcome to day 32 of 40 Days of God's Promises. Today in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 12, the New King James reads, "For whom the Lord loves, he corrects, just as a father the son in whom he delights." Here we have God's promise of correction. God is promising to correct us. And this promise allows us to experience and to enjoy all of the other promises of God. Because if we are not corrected, if God does not correct us and lead us and guide us when we go astray, then we cannot enjoy, even experience the other promises. Because to experience them, we must be in line and in obedience to the will of God. Here God is saying, I will correct you, and I will do so out of my love for you. That's a wonderful promise from our God, that he loves us so that when he sees us going astray, he will correct us to ensure that we have an abundant life. His will is that we not only live life, but we live it more abundantly. And that when this life is over, we spend it in eternity with him in everlasting life. We must accept the correction, because we can go astray at any time. Our hearts can be led astray. The flesh can lead us away from God. But we've got to have that listening ear where we allow the Spirit of God to speak to our spirit and correct us when we go astray. And it's needed. It's very, very much so needed. Every year for about the last 5 years, I've been saying that I'm going to learn how to swim. Every summer, I'm going to sign up with Breck and learn how to swim. Well, I've yet to do it. But this year, this is the year I'm going to learn how to swim. Now, the thing is, in order to learn, I've got to follow the instructions of my instructor. Whoever my teacher is, I've got to listen. I've got to follow their instructions. And when I do something wrong in that pool, I've got to accept their correction. Because if I don't accept it and I say, well, I'm just going to do what works for me. Well, if I do that, then I could possibly cause great harm to myself. And I could drown. I could drown to death because I don't want to accept the correction of the instructor. God does not want us to drown. He does not want us to die. His intent is that we spend eternity in his presence. And he loves us enough to correct us when we're wrong. Don't ever become upset when God is chastising you, when God is correcting you, because it's all intended for your good. You ought to bless God and thank God. When we look back over our lives, we didn't enjoy some of the punishment that our parents put us through. But when we look back over it now, we're thankful that they were there, loving us enough to correct us. Again, day 32 of 40 Days of God's Promises, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 12, the promise of God's correction. Read at least three translations as we continue on this journey. God bless you and have a wonderful day.